justice. Now. What do we want? Climate justice.
When you think about attacking climate change, you have to have a holistic solution.
So let's give it up for Senator Becker.
Thank you. We have to tackle all sources of greenhouse gases. And people think about cars, but there's also buildings, there's our electrical grid, and there's industrial. Not many people know cement and concrete account for almost 8% of our global carbon emissions. 8%, just cement and concrete.
Ultimately, we do have to put a price on carbon, and we have to do it the right way, as many of you know.
We depend on concrete every single day. It's in the foundation of every building you're in. It's a material that doesn't rust, rot, or burn. Concrete can be beautiful. There's examples of concrete in California that are exceptional. The Bixby Bridge, built in 1932 in Big Sur. And every one of those Bay Area concrete bridges, those concrete foundations are essential for our safety and our transportation. Even BART.
Last year, I got applause for low-carbon cement. So I knew this was a wonky audience.
People have been attempting to work on this issue for many years, working together, actually even with the industry, believe it or not. We were able to come up with this bill that we passed, SB 596, biggest in the country in terms of getting to net zero for cement. The way we were able to do this was working with both environmental groups and industry. Industry had realized this is the direction the world is going.
Senate Bill 596 that we worked on very closely with Senator Josh Becker is the first net zero sector-specific bill in California history. And it's one that we're very proud of. Some people think that we'd be upset about this bill. It's just the opposite. We use a lot of the material, and because of that, we're responsible for emissions. That in the state of California, for instance, the cement industry contributes 1.9% of the state's emissions. Our industry here is committed to carbon neutrality by 2045. We believe the passage of that bill will help us accelerate the pace of change. Cement is the fine gray powder that goes into concrete that holds rocks, sand, and water together. So when you see a truck going down the road with its drum turning, that's a concrete truck ready to deliver something that's wet to a construction site that hardens in place. The production of cement is largely about limestone. Limestone is mined and then it's crushed and it's put inside of a very intensely heated kiln, which essentially melts the material. And in that process, a chemical reaction occurs. That chemical reaction, which is required to make cement, releases CO2.
Portland cement, the key ingredient for concrete, just got more sustainable. Portland Limestone Cement, or PLC, is engineered to reduce carbon footprint by 10%.
The way that Portland limestone cement reduces emissions in production is that it doesn't require as much burning of that limestone. It's ground and added later. That's been used around the world for decades, but is relatively new to California. It has all the same performance requirements, and yet it reduces emissions by 10%. And around the world and around this nation, 10% is a great first step to reach 100% carbon neutrality.
The goal that we set is for 2045 net zero. Now again, this is the hardest of the hard to decarbonize industry, so that's going to be a challenge, but that's what we've set, and we now have putting the plans in place to get there by 2045.
I travel all over California and Nevada, sometimes beyond. My biggest focus right now is decarbonization of cement and concrete. We were able to collaborate with CalTrans to do extensive research.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tim, good to see you.
Welcome to Translate.
Thank you.
CalTrans is California's Department of Transportation. We build and maintain our roads, our bridges, and so one of the most important things that we've done in collaboration with our industry partners is the adoption of Portland limestone cement at CalTrans. This is a real game changer for us.
Come on in, Tom. Welcome to our lab.
This is where some of the magic happens. This is our quality assurance lab. Tom Tietz and the California Nevada Cement Association came to CalTrans with the proposal, and I thought it was great because we could reduce our overall carbon impacts. So we did some research to figure out what would that mean from implementation perspective. How can we safely implement without compromising the quality of the materials? These are 4 big players that we use in our concrete mixes at CalTrans. So this is one of our environmental chambers. It's temperature and humidity controlled. We have several different labs. Those include a concrete lab, a cement lab, an aggregate lab, where you're making sure that the products that go into our bridges and roads and other assets, they meet our quality standards and they're of value to the taxpayer. And the innovations in cement and concrete are really exciting as they tie to our sustainability goals at CalTrans to help reduce the impacts of what we do here on the environment and for future generations.
Number 1, we want to show it can be done. Number 2 is we want to do things in a way that create examples for other states and for the country. Number 3, we want to now create a market so all the entrepreneurs will go out there to create more ideas for low carbon cement and concrete, and then we create a market for the rest of the world.
So we gotta lead by example, right? We gotta lead by example in California, right?